What if? You know when sometimes you have so many stories and you always like, what if I did this? What if I chose this other road? And you get crazy, you get overwhelmed because you think about all these what ifs, right? I had that problem for so long. I used to think so much, what if I got an abortion? What if I got my passport early? What if this? What if that? What if this? For so long, for over 10 years. I'm not gonna lie to you. I used to have all these what ifs in my mind, and it used to drive me crazy. I think one of the reasons why I used to have so much depression is because I used to go around in my head with the what if stories, and eventually, recently, I'm not gonna lie, recently, the last two years, I realized that I need to stop. Last 2 or 3 years, I need to stop with this what if story because I can't change anything about it anymore. So I end up accepting why I chose and what happened, and it made me, it's so sunny. It made me realize that you cannot think the stories of what if I did this, what if I chose the other choice, what if this, what if that. It made me realize that you can't think like that because you cannot change the past. You could just learn from your past, and you could only just learn from it and move forward. And once I accepted my past and accepted my choices and accepted everything in between, that's when I started to, little by little, change my lifestyle. Started to heal a little bit. I started to do all these stuff because the what ifs wasn't there anymore. And I had to choose my future self. I was not choosing my future self. I was choosing my present self because I also had a problem with, oh my God, the future. And I used to make up so many stories of, if I make this is how it's going to happen. I used to have so many stories in my head of the future life or my past life. And I was never in my present life. And once I realized that I cannot control the past and I can't control the future, and I only could control what I'm doing at the moment in time, that's when I started healing myself and started doing things in the present tense and started doing stuff for my future life. Because yes, you need to do actions. You need to do actions in the present time, present moment, right? For your future life could happen, right? But if you always keep going with the stories and don't do nothing, no action, you also could get depressed about it or anxiety, whatever it is, with it, because you're thinking about the future with no action, and then you're thinking about the past with regret, and those two things are not good for it's not good for your mental health. I've been there. I overthink too much. I did too many stories about my future, and I overthink too much about my past. And it made me too depressed. It made me too anxious. And I didn't do anything with my life. I was stuck in present moment, thinking about the past and thinking about the future. And now that I started to do actions, for my future life that I want, I feel much happier in my life. I feel more satisfied with my life because I'm doing actions. I'm doing things that I always dream of. I always thought of, even though I'm not in the even though I'm not the way I want it to be, because I can. not yet in a way, but I know I could start just doing the baby steps to get to my lifestyle that I want, to the dream life that I want. So what I'm doing now, I'm just doing the stuff that I can do at the moment in time, and eventually that adds up. Eventually my dream will come, my dream life will happen, but at the moment I had just to do the baby stuff to get there. And that's where I used to be stuck all the time in life, because I used to just want my life to be like the movies, and I just want this to happen right away. You know, I really did hope, I really did had this notion that my life will change if I just meet the right person. My life will just change if I dream about it. And that's not the case. For somebody who wasted my 20s and the first half of my 30s just dreaming and talking about my future life in my head, making up stories or obsessing with my past, that way is a no-go. That way is a way of more depression, more anxiety, and more you hate your life, and more everything else in between. You know, I used to say, oh my God, I can't wait until my child is finished high school for I could start living my life, right? And I realized, I realized that I was so scared to do anything because I didn't have anybody, right? I didn't have anybody. Well, I did have people. I have family who would help me, but I am the kind of person who just don't like asking for help that much, because I don't want to be a bother to people. So, and plus, it's my responsibility, right? So for so long, I really didn't do anything for myself, because I was like, my kid is little and I have to take care of him, right? But now that he's in high school and my child is 14 years old, and he could stay in the house for like 2 hours, you know, by himself, 2 or 3 hours by himself, while I get to do certain things for myself, to you know, go to the gym and go walk for an hour, because I love walking. I just really do love walking. Or take some courses that I want. It's like fun courses. Like the beginning of the year, I took improv class, right? On Saturdays. I think it was, no, I don't know what. It was Saturday or something. One of those days. I can't remember. And he's still home. And if he wasn't old enough, I couldn't do that, right? But since he was old enough to stay home for like 2 or 3 hours while I just go and take these improv class, I got to have some time to myself, which I love having time to myself. I love the alone time. I love walking outside by myself. I love doing that, because you as an adult and as a parent, you need that alone time. For me, I'll be happier if I go outside by myself and walk and I will walk and just talk to myself, because I just do love talking to myself. I have to talk everything out. I had to talk everything out so I could understand what I'm thinking and my plans and everything. Instead of a lot of people have to write it down, like a journal. For me, what works for me, I had to talk everything out, you know. And that's what I learned, that let me just record myself and talk, right? Some of my videos are for me, but others I just post because, you know, sometimes it's good. And I want to share my thoughts with people and everything, because why not? And it makes me happy. Talking, it makes me happy. Expressing my opinion, it makes me happy. Just recording videos, I really didn't thought I used to be so scared of recording my videos. I used to be so scared to do all this stuff that I'm doing now. And I'm so happy that I did it. I'm so happy that I started, because it makes me, like, you know, it makes me me. And I didn't knew this about me, you know, in my 20s and in my early 30s. And that's all I needed. I needed to heal, and I needed to do this. And it actually helped me. Recording myself in camera, it helped me process my thoughts. It helped me process my thinking, and it just made me feel more comfortable with my own skin, you know. And it made me less anxious, and I get to not overthink anymore, and not obsessed with the future or not obsessed with the past. Even though sometimes I do obsess with the future less, not as much as I used to in the past, but I still obsess with the future a little bit, not as much as in my past. But I'm so happy that I don't overthink about my past anymore. I don't overthink about what is anymore, which that's a huge progress for me. And I realized that I have so much free time in my life, that I overthink way too much. And I think that was the problem. I had so much free time. And now that I'm trying to do stuff for myself, you know, and you know, just do things, right? Have a few hours to myself, like going to the gym, right? Because since I don't have a car, I walk to the gym. So it's like a 30-minute walk. So a 30-minute walk to over there, and then I take the classes. At the moment, I'm taking just fitness classes, right? Like Pilates, cycling class. Eventually, I'm gonna move over for that and do weights. But for now, I'm doing that. But that's an hour, right? And then another 30 minutes to go walk back home. That's 2 hours. That's 2 hours of walking, right? 2 hours of being outside the house, just doing me, and that's all I need. I just needed to waste some time, right? Because if you have so much free time and all you do is go to work, come home, and just cook, and since I'm not obsessed with cleaning, I clean I clean the weekends, right? Clean Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's all I clean. I clean those 3 days, and just it is what it is, right? And he's getting older, he's more independent. What am I gonna do in the house all day, right? Be obsessed with my future, be obsessed with my past? No. So I end up realizing that I need to do things for myself, to waste some time and not overthink, be busy. That's the word I'm thinking of. I needed to be a little bit busy because I had so much free time with my life that I was just thinking too much, thinking. So I realized that I need to be busy, you know. And since I don't have events to go to because I don't want to socialize with people all the time, you know, I really don't, and it's not my thing, I realized that I just rather do certain things, and I started recording videos, walking, and doing all this stuff that made me feel happier. It made me feel happier about myself, you know. Little by little, I started healing myself. I started going to breath work events the beginning of the year, and it was on the weekends, so it was perfect for me. And it was I started to be a little bit busy for my life, just a few hours for myself, for me to get to know myself better. And I feel like doing that, it helped me so much. And then I'm starting running, and I'm doing all this stuff that I just feel much better not thinking too much. Being busy is better than having free time, because this is why I'd rather, as much as everybody would love, as much as everybody would say they would love to have free time and, not work, that's a lie. People say that now is because we work so much, so they think that being not working and just being on the beach all day will help them. It will help them maybe for like a week, or maybe, but after that it gets old, because you have so much free time with your life that you overthink way too much. And for me, that I had so much free time with my life, way so much free time, more free time than anybody could think of. Even though I had a child, even though I had one child, he wasn't that hard, right? I'm not OCD person who has to have everything perfect, clean. I'm not. I'm a little messy. I am. I admit that. I'm a little messy, so it gives me I have so much free time with my hands that it made me freaking overthink everything. And that's what made me so depressed and anxious, right? So the more that I realized that I needed to get busy in the last 2 years, right? Especially now, especially in the last 2 years, I realized I need to start being busy. I had too much free time with my life. I need to do something. And I kept saying that. Actually, I kept saying that in the last 5 years, but I didn't do it until the last 2 years, to be honest. And I started little by little, starting doing things, and now I'm doing more stuff. And I need to be busy, because if you're busy, you're not overthinking too much, because your mind is just thinking about that one thing, right? And I think that is the best thing ever, to be busy and doing things that you love to do, doing things that you want to do, not being busy just to be busy. Because I don't really think that we should be busy, just be busy, right? I really think that we should find things that we love or we want to learn to be busy, for you don't be depressed or anxious or be over it, right? Right now, I'm really into running, and I'm not going to call myself as a runner. I don't know why, even though I've been running since July and it's September. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe after I finish my half marathon, which is next year, I could call myself. I have a half marathon in March of 2026. And I'm training myself for the half marathon. And let's see what happens. Anyway, all I have to say is, like, being busy is way better than having too much free time, because it's just better. And let me see what, I don't think I have anything else to say. Just knowing, I have one more thing to say. Knowing that if you're a parent and you have so much free time with your life, and your kids are old enough to stay home by themselves, at least for 2 or 3 hours, do something for yourself. Do something for yourself. Go out, take a class, go run if you want, like running, take a course, do something for yourself so you don't be so depressed or anxious. Or even if you don't have free time like I did, and even if you have things to do, still, if your kids are old enough to be home by themselves for 2 or 3 hours, do something for yourself. Take care of yourself, because if you take care of yourself, you will be happier, and then your kids will be happier too, because you're taking care of yourself first. And I feel like that's the best thing ever. Anyway, all I want to say, have a good day.